Yep, make sure that's steady. Hello and welcome, my name is Seth, this is Sweet Chariot, and welcome to a long evening in an English forest. I'm here with some bows. I've got a couple of things I need to do. First is make a video about how to shoot one of these bows that I've made. And then the other thing is demonstrate to my man in LA, my customer in LA, Richard, what's up Richard, how his bow is working. Richard came along and found me on sellmybow.com, Marley, bud, and he went ahead and purchased Hacker, to those who are familiar. Oh, string is caught under these other bows. He went ahead and purchased this one. Bring him up close. You can see that. Oh, no, my viewfinder's obscured. So we got mahogany tips with a birch bark backing. Flat bow. It's very wide compared to the other ones. Well, I say almost flat bow actually. Not much in the way of reflex or recurve there. It's not entirely flat. It's definitely more a wider profile than the other ones. This one came from a trunk, whereas the other ones came from a branch. It occurs to me actually, I should say hello and welcome. Thank you for all the subscribers, and I will try and make this quick because I realise we like our YouTube videos quick. So, quick overview of this one. He went for it because it was wide. It looked like the most stout, and he's probably right. But I then linked him a video of me shooting all of these side by side, and he felt that this one wasn't as quick as the other one, so he started getting torn between which one he wants, and I really can't blame him because they're all beautiful. I'll put these two side by side. Be careful of those strings. I'll put the string on actually. Make sure. This one's a Rashi. This one's a real nice piece of wood. He's more narrow. It's got a slightly more tubular sort of profile to it, and no birch bark. So we've got two self bows here, with very similar shapes. Oh, should probably put it that way around. Very similar shapes. But they feel very different. So this is what I've been sort of trying to explain to him. But at the same time, something I did notice was that the brace height on Hacker was not as low as it should be. So if I was shooting it side by side with the other bows, it's unsurprising that it wasn't going as quick as it could be. If you think about it, the higher your brace height is, the less time there is with the string transferring energy into the arrow. So the lower you can get it, the better. Too low, and you lose energy from the stored energy in the bow, and you also start slapping yourself with the string, which is rubbish. Sucks. So what I said to him was, let me get a hold of this new string here, which is long enough to give the proper brace height, and I'll show you how well it does. And in that time I also changed the limb shape very slightly. I had a bit more string follow than this, so I sort of front set it just a little bit, tried to put a little bit more reflex in the tip here, and it's working really well. So yeah, demonstrating this for Richard, I figured I could also demonstrate how I actually shoot these things. If I'm sending these out to people, it'd be nice to provide an instructional video on how to do it. So yeah, we string it like a horse bow, nice and easy. So the limb goes against your shin there, the handle goes behind your knee, and up goes the string. The limbs are designed so the loops can go around them, slide up and down to make stringing an absolute breeze. Molly, mate, you know what? Actually, stay there. The first thing I got a target set up there, nice and close, just to show off the tiller of the bow, and then I got a target a little bit further away to show off the what shatterproof archery would call the snaggability, so how easy it is to shoot the bow. Now all of them need to deserve a fair shake, so we get them nicely warmed up. Is that the right knot? That is the right knot. Make sure they're at full draw. Now, These are instinctive shooting bows. Further than that, they're shooting off the right instinctive shooting bows. And you draw them with your thumb, and you flick the bow out the way. It's very different to Mediterranean style archery. So yeah, what's the main thing to remember about this? Even though it's a thumb drawing bow, it's not a full-blown horse bow. They use something called katra. So a smaller bow, you sort of point the bow like that and flick it out the way. This is somewhere between Mediterranean and full-blown like Turkish archery, Turkish horsebow archery. So it's a combination of all of those things, including keeping the bow steady. I see in other horseback you might punch in to the bow like that, a whole bunch of movement meant to keep everything in line. I found watching Kudo was very helpful with these. Maybe not all the ceremony beforehand, but the point where they start to bring the bow down and do the draw is really helpful to watch, because it gives you a real nice, everything gets nice and lined up before you pull the straw. As you're pulling the string, everything's nice and lined up, so you're not adding any spining, any twist on there. And doing that Kudo discipline really helps. Let's see, I've also marked the weight of these arrows. So this one's 353 grains. So sort of top end for this bow. But I didn't do these with draw scale, I did it all by the feel on the thumb. And then by watching where I get string follow and trying to attack the areas where, you know, it's making that happen. Yeah, all by feel. And either I landed right on around 30-35 pounds, or I brought it back up to 30 or 35 pounds by adding birch bark. This one was at a decent power level, and then I added birch bark anyway, just for that extra bit of security. There's a lot of brambles here. So yeah, let me shoot this sucker. Yeah, we're looking for a right angle off of the string, 90 degrees in there. And then you're trying to, yeah, full draw. Full draw for me is back to around my earlobe. So I often brush my earlobe. Mediterranean archery, you'll stop at your anchor point. So the discipline in this style of archery is knowing exactly, you might not be even touching your face. You might not have an anchor point, like you'll have a virtual anchor point. Because there comes the next thing, which is your surprise release. With Mediterranean style, you might be used to holding there for a little while, and some other Asiatic ones, but with U bows like this, a surprise release is really good, so you're not overdrawing and holding it at that full draw. So, what we after? Do a little bit better than that. Let's watch for the tiller, how the bow bends. And so this one has a really nice smooth draw, all the way back. That dog has gone and laid right in front of my target. I love her so much. Should have taken the weight from that arrow as well, because this matters. This one is a 342 grain arrow, so it's a little bit lighter than that first one I shot, so it should go a wee bit quicker. Too light and you're going to feel shock appearing in the bow, which, you know, you get bad arrow flight, and it's also bad for the bow. That's when you might break something. So let's give it a nice long, and just a little flick of the wrist, even though, well, it's because the string is set over to the right hand side, you don't need to give it the full, you know, blast out the way. My other horse bows with the central string line, the symmetrical ones, you do. You have to give it way more. With these ones, the string helps, just helps, and then all you have to do is twist that, and that is why we have these little square handles. Oof. Get these arrows a second, and also get this dog out of the way. Back up. Molly, come here, dude. What's this? Don't make me pick you up in front of all the people. Come on, buddy. I need to shoot down here. Come on, up you get. Yes, ma'am. That's a good girl. You go wait over there, please. Good girl. Probably knock the camera over now. Alright, sweet. So let me stick a few arrows down here. One more look at that tiller. I'm not sure what the frame's like when we stood up, but I can. Real nice draw weight. And somewhere between 30 and 35, I feel. And what arrow it favours will tell us a lot. Once again, I didn't take the weight on that one. That's 300. 300 grain arrow, so that could well match this one perfectly. It's lighter than that one I just shot. So yeah, here we go. We can employ our Kudo principles here. We're going to bring everything in line, first and foremost. You can come down and rest onto the target. There you go. That wasn't full draw. Let's make a point of getting to full draw, so I got distracted by the first stage. Right, because yeah, if you think about it, if you bring your bow in like this, you can create all sorts of twists. Little kink in that arrow. So I tend to get everything nice and lined up first. Elbow nice and high. And then, yeah, I'm holding my knuckle over the target. You'll learn where the arrow comes into your sight pincher. As long as you keep your eye on the target and make everything else consistent, you will start to understand. Yeah, it almost works like, well, your hand will go ghost. If you're looking sort of through to the target, your hand will ghost, so you can translucent, so you can see through it, where it like overlays over the sight picture you have, and your knuckles sort of become a good indication of your elevation, because we're shooting instinctive. Right. Probably didn't go full draw there either, or at least I didn't feel it come past my ear. That was slightly heavier than the 300, I think. Oh wait, this one? 358, so that one's heavier again. Slightly better penetration on that, even though it was moving slightly slower. So I'm gonna grab this bag quick. That was the underdrawn one right there, unsurprising. I also hit empty bag. So that one. Yeah, the last one I pulled out went the deepest. That was 353. Yeah, unsurprising, the next one was 358. And then the next one, 342. So maybe I think I underdraw that one as well. Yeah, that's Hacker. Working like an absolute dream, if I'm honest. I could push the bag back, but I don't want to miss and lose my arrows. That is something else to say about this shooting style. Excuse me. It's very easy to miss. If you haven't got everything dialed in, be it your string line and your technique, both in your draw and in your flick of your wrist, it's very easy to make yourself miss wildly. So yeah, what was I just thinking I should mention then? Yeah, the thumb draw. It's not comfortable on your finger at first. You have to train yourself. What am I hearing? Ah, it's a plane. I thought I heard a car coming. That'd be very strange. We're in the middle of a forest. Yes, your thumb draw. At first, it's going to hurt. I've got a nice little callus building up there. And it's part of the reason why these have ended up at lower poundage, because you can do serious damage. You're shooting with one finger, as opposed to three. You're spreading that weight across the three. So yeah, at first it's going to be very uncomfortable. And even with lower poundage bows, you might want to consider a thumb drawing ring. Yeah, give yourself that extra bit of protection, and it can help with the release. There's various ways you can go about, releasing, just little nuances that you can train yourself. I go for the surprise release. Let's see if I can get another nice shot on this one. Good speed, eh, Richard? Let's make sure I get another full draw for you. It's got a lovely thunk to it. That's something else to mention about your flat bows. They are quiet compared to a recurve bow. That's what I was going to talk about. Yes, there's a few ways. There's a few ways that you create speed in a bow. One is with reflex and deflexing your handle and just trying to get as much energy out of the piece of wood as possible. The other one is making sure that you've got all your draw length that you can do. With this style of archery, you could train to go past. The Kudo brings you way past back here. You're like anchored with like a right angle in your bicep. And yeah, well, it all just has fed off of this style of bow. I mean, yeah, I have found that it's a bow that you draw slowly. It's almost like you don't believe that this bend is going to happen. It's like, it's weird. How can it possibly draw well? So you sort of naturally just nice and smooth draw. It's good. And the brace height could go maybe a ½ inch lower, but I found 8 inches is really good. You'll notice I haven't got an arm guard on or a thumb ring. And you can just bare bow away. Boom, dead center. So yeah, I need to get this and put it side by side with Arashi, really, don't I? Maybe a small amount of string follow occurring. What will happen is that will return to its original position. And see, a string follow and back set like this is a really good way to get to full draw, as long as you have enough meat in the other dimensions to make up for it. So that's what I'm trying to say to Richard. Although yeah, this is sort of a thicker piece of wood. But not quite as dramatically shaped as this one. So they deliver energy, they feel different when you draw them, and they deliver energy in a slightly different way. This one is a little bit more kicky, so it's a bit more difficult to be accurate with. I've had some practice. Look at that unstrung shape though. So you imagine if the handle was in the middle, it would be reminiscent of a sort of a bamboo horse bow, your recurve. Reflex, deflex bow. Sorry, no, proper recurve bow. Maybe not a horn full recurve bow. Remember, they get, yeah, your horn bows unstrung, they end up like this. So you think about the challenge is literally just to get your limbs as far forward as possible. So in the stringing of it, you store energy. In the drawing of it, you store more energy. And then it's trying to return back to a really extreme point in front of the handle, which delivers the maximum amount of energy. That knot could go a little bit deeper now, look at it. To the bow, but yeah, that comes at a cost. They're firstly not as smooth to draw, they're hard to draw, and as a result of that, they're explosive as well. This is the advantage of the English longbow. Try and keep that in mind. Looking at this design, an English longbow doesn't have any reflex really, aside from the shorter ones, because they have to backset in order to get to the full draw length. So a longbow won't have any front set at all, sorry, reflex at all to deliver speed. It's all just in the limb itself, in the material itself. I've got to go get some arrows, haven't I? Give it a fair shake with the same arrows. Through the cardboard there. Oh, I know, Molly, I'm rubbish, aren't I? I've got to get this done before the light goes away. Right, cool. So, Arashi. I'll show you the target down there. Have I put the string? I've put the string on upside down. How do I manage that? I can show you the stringing again. In your ankle, behind your knee. Oomph. This one, do I need to wind the string up? No, that's the other bow. That's the symmetrical bow. Your Arashi is also up online on sellmybow.com. As is Senshi. And did I bring Sirokiba as well? Yeah, all of them drawing around the same. Whether they're shooting it around the same speed, that's sort of down to us. Making sure we get the right arrow and give it the full draw length. Oh yeah, I was going to do this one, wasn't I? Right, let's have a look at the tiller. Yeah, it's a nice bow, this. The piece of wood grew perfectly, with the limb going off this way and the limb going off this way. So it had lots of stored energy already. I haven't had to fight to get it. Molly's just wandering off. She gets so bored. Yeah, I haven't had to fight to get it to store more energy. So yeah, very special piece of wood. And with that birch bark back in, get a closer look here. We've got some oak tips on there in a really nice shape as well. Yeah, it's just a nice one, this. They're all nice, but this one, from an engineering perspective, is particularly nice. So let's get into full draw, get them warmed up. I'm dealing with an organic material here. So it will feel tough at first, and then it's going to ease up. Don't think that was a full draw. Ow, there's something in my knee. Go for that right angle again. Better. Let's do one more, and I'll shoot the bag. Yeah, this one is a little bit pricier than the other bows, just because of that, just because of the gift of the tree. I mean, I can make other pieces of wood form like this, but you have to just grow this way to make it this very, very nice. But like I say, performance-wise, very similar. I was trying to say to Richard, the fact of the matter is, this one is more vulnerable as just a straight up self bow with no birch back. This one as a wide, get off that string. This one as a wider piece is, yeah, and quite deep as well. It's just tougher. You know, so I can achieve what this one can do with less things that compromise the feel and the overall comfort and sort of delivery of energy to this bow. So this one is optimized for smoothness, whereas this one is optimized for speed. But with the other combination of things, including the draw length, this has a slightly comfier full draw. They both go to 28 inches or thereabouts. Yeah, this one just feels nicer when it's there, and that is sort of what you need when it comes to accuracy and, of course, arrow speed. Yeah, not just the recurve, you need it to be able to get to full draw consistently. And the full draw delivers both speed and accuracy. Just need to check what I'm going to shoot this iron and make sure I know where Molly is. So yeah, I think Hackle's quicker there. What weight are we on? 300. We'll give it the 300. Back to our technique. Bring everything nice and straight. No matter how you get there, but as long as you start from a straight point. Oh, that went straight next to it. Just underneath. We got one more. Let's do one more. Under again. Let's go have a look at those penetrations. Very nice. On the top of the bag, in the middle of the bag. Molly? Yeah, buddy. Oh, you're over there. She's waiting around the corner where we're going to leave. Just waiting for me to be done with this. Not quite yet, buddy. So these are all between 300 grains and 350 grains, which is either spot on weight or slightly too heavy for these bows. All of them draw in, around. I should get the pull scale on them. I haven't got my tiller tree set up in a way that I felt safe, and it hasn't felt entirely necessary. I mean, prehistoric people who made these did not have draw scales. There's other ways to figure it out. They didn't even have grain scales, kitchen scales to be able to weigh these and figure it out. You judge it all by performance, feel and performance. They say if it's not ripping my thumb off, it's good. If it's not almost ripping my thumb off, it's not heavy enough. And then you can look and see where your string follow is happening, where you can lose power, where you can't. If you watch after that surprise draw, I'd say you could punch forward if you want to, but I like to keep it nice and steady. Where after that hunting bow is effectively a hunting bow. Horsebow, archery, I don't know how sort of hot they are on accuracy. I mean, a lot of the time you'd be on the back of a horse, so to at least hit the target. That's definitely the way it is in Kudo, because it's quite as far, it's like 29 meters or something, the Kudo range, and it's a, oh, come on, I should know this, 19-inch target, 28-inch target. It's not a big target. It's like a big drum like this, way off down at the end of the Kudojo. And if you miss a lot, and even for the first 2 months, you're not going to hold the bow, I believe. So when it comes to Kudo, there's so much ritual about, because it's a martial art. It's not archery. It's a martial art. You have to learn everything about it before you really pick up the bow and start doing the actual activity itself. It's all come from this. This is a simplified version, or more like Kudo is an elaborate version of this. The way that you shoot this, and if you shoot this, you sort of realize why it happens the way it does. Yeah, all in training that thumb though. I get right in the crease there, and then I lock my finger across like that, and then bring those down like that. So you might not have the flexibility to do that. These arrows are about 30 inches, maybe slightly over, by the way, just to give you an idea of the draw length. I happily come to my earlobe. Reminded me of something about Mary for a second. Coming to my earlobe. What we're going to do is try and brush past. You might hopefully see my hair flick. It's just the discipline you have to train. I think I tend to try. Well, that's something from Mediterranean archery as well. As you release, you sort of you just let go. Or is it no? You're not. It's not that you let go. Sorry, it's that you're not holding the string anymore. So it's a case of just being as gentle as you can. And that last one I shot felt a little bit forced as I came back here trying to make my hair flick. But typically you're just gonna come away from the string and your hand will go loose, and away you go. Get your arrows back. That was a good one. There's different densities in this bag, so it's not really scientific. Yeah. To Richard, I mean, yeah. To full disclosure, so I did say in my last video, this put the willies in as well. I mentioned that there was I picked up a little crack underneath here when I was recurving it. Yeah, well, the truth is truth. There is a small crack underneath here. It was, if you can see this area here, it was just across that one piece of ply. So it was about here, I believe. So it hasn't come out in any of these bits of ply here, any of these bits of ply here. It was like right about here. You can see the growth ring, so it'd gone through one, maybe the start of the second one. But you can't see it at all. It hasn't affected the strength of it at all. I'll say I've shot it many hundreds of times now, and yeah, it doesn't show any sign of causing any issues at all. Plus we've got that birch bark over there, and it is extremely tough. Yeah, I left this bit of the limb exposed because the sapwood was quite nice. It was incredibly clean. But still, they can really surprise you. You have no idea what's going on underneath the surface on these bows, especially when you've got little knots like this, which you can't get away from in you. It is just part of the craft, part of the devil that is you. I was particularly happy with the birch bark on this one. Went down really nice and clean and smooth, clear. I didn't have to remove too much, if anything. to get it back to the tiller it's supposed to have. I don't know if you can see that. It's probably returned to its shape already. Yeah, it's just a really nice. If you hear it, then it's got a real nice dull thunk as the birch bark helps absorb a lot of the shock, as well as being just a a meatier piece of wood. It's really really refined and well, what's the word? Composed, sorry, and easy to shoot. This one. This one, you got be a little bit crafty. This is I'm almost tempted to keep a hold of this one for myself right now, if I'm honest. Although Senshi performs more or less the same, pretty much hasn't got that extremely dramatic shape, but I put it in. The handle is somewhat deflex and it performs really nice. So does Shirokiba. This one comes in, this one isn't getting close to 35, I think this one is 30, pretty much bang on the money. It all depends how far you can draw it. How far you're willing to draw it, how regular, well, how consistently you can hit that anchor point. And you will do that, and the bow is going to allow that to a small degree as well, if you have a nice, smooth draw. This one stacks, it does get just a little bit tough at the end there. String up Packer just one more time. Let me just make sure Molly is still there. She is sat in the grass with the ears poking out. I do recommend a bitch lurcher as a dog. They will hunt small and large animals at very short notice. It will catch you out because most of the time they're just very chilled out creatures. The 40-mile-an-hour couch potato. Weight of this arrow, this is the 300 grain. Oh yes. I didn't feel all that much shock on that one there. So yeah, I think you're going to get 300 grain arrows. Richard. I think that was a little bit heavier, that arrow. This one is 327. I'd forgotten about this one. Boom. It's great. It's great noise. Right, there is a gap between all those arrows there. What we got here? That is 297. I'm not going to shoot that one. I know that one is not good for this bow. This one is 347, so a little bit heavier again, but we should be absolutely fine. Yeah, there's a little gap between all those arrows. Let's get in the middle. Oh, just to the left. What else we got? We have got some 420 grain aluminium. That was the spot I was after. So yeah, I can shoot aluminium. It's the part of the beauty of this particular traditional bow. Your English longbow, you need spined arrows. I think you can do modern materials, but what you want is wooden arrows that have been, shaped in the middle to make them bend specifically to that bow. Whereas these, because you're not spining, you're not asking the arrow to bend really. Well, if you don't flick your wrist, you are. So if I don't flick my wrist on this bow, you will hear the aluminium go ping and hit off the bow. If I'm successful in flicking it out the way, it goes like any other wooden arrow. Just sort of ties into the instinctive style of shooting. Let's go. Try and get him underneath that group. Side by side again. Right. I want that shot. There we go. Very, very happy with how this one's turned out. All of them, in fact. Yeah, they're the same bow, and then very much not the same bow as well. It all depends how much you care. If you've done archery, you will understand. If you've shot self bows, you will definitely understand. But yeah, come and get them, because at this rate, I'm wondering if Richard might have all four, or maybe two. One birch backed, one not birch backed, one for the wife, right? This one is a 500. Yeah, let's do the 500. Why not? Don't want to shoot the light one. I will shoot the heavy one. What was it? It was just over 5. Or was it just under 5? It's too heavy. Still, flying very nice. The heavier arrow, you're going to get better penetration. how did someone describe it the other day? I think it was probably shatterproof archery again. It's like hitting something with a feather or hitting something with a brick. Yeah, you're gonna do more damage with your heavy arrow, but with the heavier arrow you get less speed. So if you're trying to get accuracy, you might be sort of trying to dial a lob into your arrow. You know what I mean by a lob? You sort of have to create an arc and make it dip onto your target rather than firing straight at it. Same equation you have with the 2.2 air rifle versus a 1.77. Though you're not delivering as much energy per se down at the down range. Well, a squirrel isn't going to know the difference between a 2.2 and a 1.77, and one of them is going to go straight, one of them is going to drop, just very, very slightly. And even that 50 grains difference between your arrows, you're going to notice that. At this range, not so much. They're all still just flying straight. But as soon as you drop the target back just a small amount, like another 5 yards, 3, maybe even 3 meters, 4 or 5 meters. This is probably 8 meters, something like 10 paces. Yeah, you're really going to notice it then, and that extra bit of the arrow flying nice and straight is going to make a lot of difference. But yeah, I didn't want to run this video too long. I won't shoot the other 2 bows. I'm glad I brought them along just to show them off, because they are both up for sale and working really well as well. They've both achieved the shape that they need. Their unstrung shape is what it's all about. That tells you how much energy is in there. If you've got a back set bow, it's gonna handle differently. Yeah, these are taking a lot of work, and I would like them to go to people who will appreciate them. And I feel Richard is one of those people. If you are also, yes, please come and find me on sellmybow.com or on Instagram as well with Sweet Chariot. Yeah, I did have them up on eBay, but I've switched to sellmybow.com, and it's going well so far. Yeah, so hey, sponsor me, sellmybow.com. That'd be awesome. How about that? But yeah, thank you very much. Let me go grab this bag. I'll say again, thank you everyone for subscribing and for comments and likes and all that good stuff. And tell your friends, come subscribe, and maybe even come and buy a bow. Although we're going to have one less to choose from pretty soon, I believe. I've got 2 more to come up. So just under £30 asymmetrical horse bows. 2 of them I've got to come up online. One of them's down at Wales Archery Specialist doing some advertising for me. And the other one just had its last bit of recurve yesterday. So I need to, it's the one I shot in the grass the other day in that short, if anyone saw that. Well, those alleys did well. It's that little bit heavier weight, actually got some really good penetration. Yeah, that one, the one I shot, what did I call that one? Touch grass, I called that. It was okay, it shot, but it felt a little bit gutless. So I put it back onto the form and tried to give it a bit more reflex. The next stage might be adding another layer of birch bark to that one. It did get quite slim, yeah, it needs to be slim. So this is a bow that isn't here I'm talking about now, just to make clear. It's the same dilemma I had with these ones, because they're from branches, you can't really go too flat, so you sort of need to maintain a bit of a tubular structure to them, but they're quite short, so you need to go flat as well, so you end up with this sort of oval tube. Yeah, I had a balance with that on those 2 as well, and it's a way that the individual piece of wood sort of dictates what sort of bow it gets made into, which makes them unique and awesome. So yes, yeah. If you like them, please come and check me out. I would be honoured. And thanks very much. Yeah, I'm going to take this dog out for walk the last bit of the evening. She's done very well. She's been in the car a lot, and it's been too hot today. So this nice cool bit of evening time is going to go to her, I think. So let's pack all this up, and I will see you in the next one. Yeah. Hope you enjoyed that, Richard. Hopefully it was helpful. You can see them side by side now. Help make that decision. Thanks again.